Welcome once again to the Ohio State of Mind, a show powered by Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Alongside Tyler Danburg, I'm Caleb Spinner. We're talking women's basketball today, a loss against number 8 Maryland, but a bounce-back win at home against Minnesota. And then the men's hockey team, they prepare to head up to Cleveland at First Energy Stadium for Faceoff on the Lake. We'll talk about that as well. Tyler, wrapping up another week of school, another week of broadcasting. How you feeling going into this one?
I'm feeling great. You want to know why? Because this weekend is the birthday weekend of our host, Caleb Spinner. He turns 21, so happy birthday to you, my friend. That's why I'm feeling great today.
See, I thought this was going to be a segue into your grandparents being here and getting to celebrate with them. And you got a busy week of broadcasting. You got the grandparents in town celebrating you. I thought that's where you were going to go, but birthday wishes are well appreciated.
Well, the grandparents have been in town. They were stopping by from their trip down south for the winter, but then they are on their way up, so it was great to see them. Parents are coming in as well. We've got some broadcasts coming up, so it is going to be a good weekend.
Absolutely isn't. It was a good week for women's basketball. Didn't start off that way, though, as the number 13 Buckeyes lost to the Terrapins 90-54 on Sunday. The loss marked Ohio State's fourth over their last 5 games. It was fair, I think, at that time to say they were on a skid. However, there was that bounce-back win against Minnesota by 30 points earlier this week. Incredible way to turn it around. You've heard all the speculation about how this team started off really hot and now was showing their true colors, and a few players' names were called into question about who was suffering the most and who wasn't playing to their best. But now I think more or less, Tyler, those questions have been silenced, at least for the time being. We'll see how long that holds up.
There are definitely questions, but they were able to take a deep breath. They came out of the gates raring to go against the Golden Gophers after losing 4 of their last 5 after they went on a 19-game historic win streak to start off the season. But for head coach Kevin McGuff and his team, that was big. To get a midweek win against a Minnesota team that has some options. They have a couple of scoring threats like Rose Mishaw down low, but Ohio State, they were able to dominate from start to finish. They led wire to wire. Now, there is a question, though, because this is an Ohio State team that has dealt with some injuries. Madison Green's out for the season. J.C. Sheldon played 25 minutes in that Maryland game, did not play against Minnesota. They did not play her due to precautionary reasons from that lower leg injury she had. And then on top of that, Rebecca Mikulashikova, the big option down low, the 6'4" center, she went down due to injury. She returned to the bench, but she was in street clothes and wearing a boot on her right ankle. So now, despite the win, you're kind of thinking, well, without Rebecca Mikulashikova, who's one of your top 3 scorers, what does this look like if she can't go? Because you're going to lose some of your size. So that means Emma Shoemate, Ebony Walker, Heaven Bristow, those are a couple names that we're going to have to hear called if Mikulashikova can't go for the next game or so.
Mikulashikova has been a big part of this Ohio State, particularly offense, especially when the guards are down. You talked about Madison Green being out for the year, J.C. Sheldon just getting back to form after, I believe the last time we saw her play was 7 weeks into the season, or 7 games, I should say, into the season. So she was a big part of keeping Ohio State into it. She had a bit of scoring struggles compared to what she had at the start of the season and what she was doing recently, but had a few great games there that showed what she could bring to this team. And now to go down in street clothes with a boot, we don't know what's up with her yet. We don't know the timetable or anything on that. So that's definitely something to take a look at. And then maybe J.C. Sheldon too, take a timetable on that, playing one game, not playing the next. Continuing to watch that lower leg injury there. But Ohio State, they take on Indiana Monday night at 7 p.m. on Big Ten Network. That's their next contest on February 13th. The men's hockey team here, Tyler, a trip that you and I will make. They head up to Cleveland on February 18th for the Faceoff on the Lake presented by Meyer at the First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, the home of the National Football League's Cleveland Browns. Number 7 men's hockey right now, they take on number 5 Michigan, but we have a series to get to before we talk about that. Michigan, they are at number 15 Michigan State this weekend, Friday at East Lansing, Saturday in Detroit for the Duel at the D at Little Caesars Arena, the home of the NHL's Detroit Red Wings, and then Ohio State at Notre Dame. You and I have looked at that series before, Tyler. Why is that series so important? Why am I changing the tone of my voice, hinting at something?
Because this is where the show got its start, in the basement of the Ivy Court Hotel just outside the Notre Dame campus. While we were there to broadcast the Notre Dame-Ohio State men's hockey series, we also debuted episode 1.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. That was after men's basketball upset Duke, I think we talked about, and women's hockey was at Minnesota State, if my memory does not fail me here.
Your memory doesn't fail you. And on top of that, Ohio State women's basketball just lost a heartbreaker in the Big Ten ACC Challenge up north in Syracuse. So
that's right.
Pretty good action all around.
And of course, that was the time when I forgot to bring a tie, and thus every other road trip since I have planned out with a checklist of everything I've need to brought, and it stuck with us through football season. Hoping this is going to result in no errors here when we go up to Cleveland, even though it's only a hop, skip, and a jump from Columbus here. But this being the first outdoor college hockey game between the Buckeyes and the Wolverines since 2012 at Progressive Field, which you and your dad know a lot about Progressive Field here. This should be a big, big event, not only for Cleveland, but of course for the fans of Ohio State and Michigan. Certainly a rivalry game. You're going to see a little bit of the heated action that we see with Ohio State and Michigan whenever they hit the ice, especially in a contact sport. But I hope, at least, that both fan bases at least join together in celebrating how awesome an event, how great an opportunity that this will be.
I honestly don't think there are many things that are better than an outdoor hockey game. There's just something about it when it's in a stadium, when it's in a place like First Energy Stadium, home of the Cleveland Browns, right off the lake. It just gives off some great hockey vibes. And it's a fantastic rivalry and a fantastic matchup. And it's probably going to have some implications on what the Big Ten tournament seeding can look like as well.
Who doesn't love some outdoor hockey, right? I mean, it's pretty good. I tried to slip into the Canadian accent. I'm not very good at it, though.
You were slowly turning into Kurt Russell as Herb Brooks there. Just for a second.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. I have watched that movie so many times, Tyler. Okay, side note conversation here. Can we both agree that that's a Christmas movie?
No.
What?
You are out of your absolute mind.
I thought we were going to agree on this time.
Oh, the movie, no. Caleb, the movie centers on the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics were not played during Christmas.
So there's this Christmas scene in there when they give him the whip and they give Coach Patrick the whistle and they play football outside. That's Christmas, baby.
Yeah, but if it's not central to the plot, or if it's not even like a turning point, I just don't think that it constitutes as a Christmas movie. Does it have a great Christmas scene? Yes, but sorry, I think we disagree here.
You're using my argument against me, and I both appreciate it and hate it at the same time. But speaking of gift giving, at least with Christmas here, you instituted a new segment to the show. You pulled rank on me and said, Caleb, I got a good idea for how we go through the show, celebrating the anniversary, at least series-wise, of the creation of this show, with our stickers of the week, where you and I give a fake, not real Buckeye sticker to a team or a player on a team who is of big importance this week or of the week going forward. Ty, I'll let you start off, because mine, I think once I say it, it's going to be really obvious who I was going to give this to.
I'm going to go team, partner. I'm going to give my Buckeye sticker to the 11th ranked Ohio State men's volleyball team. Last week, they went to State College in a neutral site. They took number 2 UCLA to 5 sets. They lost. Next day, they bounced back and they upset number 10 USC in 4 sets. Then last night, or because this is coming out on Friday, Thursday night, they also defeat McKendree in 4 sets. Now they're going to take on another good team in Lewis, another D2 power. So look for Ohio State to make an impact this weekend and try and jump into the top 10 in men's volleyball, which they haven't been able to do this year.
I'm glad you gave yours to a team, because mine goes to a player, Caleb Romero of the Ohio State men's wrestling team. He celebrates senior night tonight up at the Covelli Center along with a few of his teammates. His final matchup there, he has had a long and illustrious career in the Scarlet and Gray, going back to his time too at Mechanicsburg High School when I knew him. So he's putting a cap on a great series, on a great season and a great career. So my sticker goes to him.
That's going to be a huge meet. I mean, if you're the Covelli Center, you definitely got to be happy that you've had back-to-back weeks with star-studded top 10 matchups. First Penn State, then Nebraska comes to town. This is going to be awesome for Ohio State wrestling. Let's see if they can get the job done.
And we have our very own Frank Saldana Moreno, Frank the Tank, as I call him, up there giving the action on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio, starting at 7 o'clock, I believe. That'll do it for us here on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio's The Ohio State of Mind. Be sure to tune in next Friday when we talk about the latest in Ohio State athletics. But until then, for Tyler Danburg, I'm Caleb Spinner. That's the show. We're out of here.